Welcome back to Master Your Glass. This is a pretty cool episode that I have been holding on to for a really long time, and quite honestly, I don't know why. You should check it out. Welcome back to Master Your Glass with me, Livio Lauro. Today I am joined by my friend H Ehrmann, who is going to show us how to make a Sazerac cocktail. H, it's great to have you on the show.
It's good to be here, thanks.
I want to be you when I grow up, my friend. You have a one-letter name. H. I want to be L one day.
You are now L.
I am L. You also are also cool for many other reasons. You have one of the greatest bars in San Francisco, which is Elixir, an amazing watering hole, a great saloon that I've been to many times. You also, in 2018 and 2019, won Best Cocktail at the San Francisco Cocktail Awards. You are an expert in every effect. But the reason why I got you here today is because one of the cocktails that you've really captured and helped the world better understand is the Sazerac cocktail. And so for that reason, I would love for you to show us what you got and how you would make the Sazerac.
Absolutely. I have loved this cocktail for a long time. I have some roots in my career that go back to New Orleans. The first chef I ever worked for was Duke Cicero from New Orleans, who taught me a lot, told me about the cocktail. I didn't really make it until I opened my bar in 2003, and the source I went to get a recipe was Gary Regan's Joy of Mixology, a great book.
Great book.
Every bartender today probably has on their shelf. And in that version, and there are many versions of this recipe, it's one of these cocktails that has a bit of a muddled history, a lot of myth and legend around it, but Gary used 3 ounces of whiskey and just Peychaud's bitters, and that's kind of what I stuck to over the years.
Okay.
So what I start with in this, and this is again a cocktail, it's the improved whiskey cocktail. It's basically just a spin on an old fashioned with a couple of different flavors. So we're going to start off with our sugar.
Okay.
I'm going to put a bar spoon of sugar here in my mixing glass.
Okay.
And I'm going to dissolve that with some water to make it into a syrup. And as you and I discussed, this is how I would make a drink for myself at home.
Right. You don't always have time to make simple syrup and store it and put it in the fridge and then not need it till the next time.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
But in the bar, we use simple syrup because it's fast and it gets the drinks over the counter. And it's basically what we're making here. So I stir that up a little bit, but it's going to get dissolved more when I put my bitters in. And this is Peychaud's bitters, which is a bitters from New Orleans that, again, is tied to a lot of the legend of the drink. And it has an anise type flavor to it. And so that's what I'm going to put in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I like. And variations on how many dashes go in there are abound. Other people also will include some Angostura bitters. And this was included in the recipe that was done by the Sazerac House, as renowned cocktail historian David Wondrous recently in his research revealed that was the drink that went on to be a bottled cocktail and got national exposure and sales, and they also included a little bit of maraschino in that. But this was also not something that's been used most recently and not something that I've used at Elixir. So I don't include the maraschino, which is just a bar spoon, a scant bar spoon in there.
Gotcha.
For that recipe. So we've got our bitters, and now on top of that, I'm going to put our whiskey. I'm using 100 proof Rittenhouse rye whiskey, which is one of my favorite cocktail whiskeys because 100 proof just really brings the flavor forward.
Wonderful.
A lot of people will do this drink with 2 ounces. This is one that I like 3 ounces. So this is a whopper of a drink, a lot of alcohol, 3 ounces of 100 proof whiskey.
Nice.
This is, 2, 3 of these and you're on your way. So I'm also going to chill my glass.
Okay.
I'm going to put some ice in here.
Wonderful.
Get my glass nice and cold.
All right.
Let that sit up.
Very cool. So just to recap, in here we have a bar spoon of sugar, we have a bar spoon of water, we have 5 dashes of Peychaud bitters, we have 3 ounces, 90 mils of your rye whiskey, and now what's the next step?
Now, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna spin this a little bit so that'll help get the chill going on the glass.
I like what you're doing there.
And then I'm gonna put the ice into my drink, and I'm gonna give the chill on my drink. So this is going to get chill and dilution from the ice, but I'm not going to stir it too long because I don't want it to get over diluted. And this is also, as you'll see, this is going to be a drink that's served neat. So it's not going to have the ice to sit on and stay cold. So you want to make sure it gets cold enough. It's not a drink you're going to chug. So it's going to sit in your hand for a little bit. So you want to make sure that it's going to stay cold, but not be overly diluted. So
I see.
That's about as long as I'm going to stir it.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take my ice and dump it here.
Okay.
And go to the absinthe rinse. Again, this is one of the main elements that makes this very different from an old fashioned. And I'm just going to roll that around the edge. You can do it many different ways and pour it right out.
Okay. Get rid of the excess.
At the bar, we'll use it actually, and we'll put it in an atomizer and just spray it in, which is makes, again, for faster service.
Okay.
Now I've got my chilled diluted cocktail.
Okay.
My absinthe rinse glass, and I'm just going to give that a beautiful pour. Fill my little bucket glass.
That looks really nice.
Beautiful cocktail.
Sexy.
And then the garnish. The garnish is also a divisive point because some people will put the lemon in and some will leave it out.
Gotcha.
Get a nice big wide swath of that and expel those oils over the top of the drink. Get a lot of nice oils on there. I personally like to put the garnish right in the glass.
Okay.
100 proof whiskey is going to extract that in maceration and continue to add lemon to it, and I like that. So
Awesome.
the Sazerac, my friend.
All right, I'm ready for this. Okay. Well, you know what I've always found interesting about the Sazerac is it's served neat, served chilled, and it's not in a cocktail glass. And it's always been intriguing as to what were they thinking? Why wasn't there a cocktail? Why hasn't ever made it in a cocktail glass? Was it just because it wasn't around back then? Or, why is this neat cocktail served in a rocks glass? But one of the fascinating points, I actually dig the lemon that you put in it because you're using it, right? It does make the drink look better. The oils of the lemon are going to continue to kind of leach, into the cocktail itself. So it's an improvement on it. Yeah. The aroma, of course, the lemon is right there. The absinthe is only mildly there, so I can see how the rinse really just gives it the right amount of touch.
And that follows through on the palate.
It will follow through on the palate, hopefully. I'll be the judge of that. The spice from the rye, I can also smell it, and the bitters are there. But you know what? Let's give this a sip and see. Oh, I need to try that one more time.
Takes several of those tastes to get it into your soul.
It tastes better and better the more you drink it, for sure. But of course, the combination of bitters, sugar, water, and whiskey, or any alcohol for that matter, but especially rye whiskey in this case, is established, and everybody knows it's delicious, right? The Old Fashioned has been our favorite cocktail for centuries now, or one of our top favorite cocktails. This one with the absinthe rinse gives it that extra oomph, right? I'm glad you brought up the story of the maraschino, and I know you did not put it in here, but it'd be nice actually to see what that tastes like maybe on another episode one day. Hey, listen, this show is all about authentic recipes. Some cocktails out there, actually a lot of cocktails out there, don't have an established history, don't have an established recipe that we can just look at from the very beginning and say, this is it. And the Sazerac is definitely one of them. Now, if you liked this show, please hit like, subscribe, and come back for more of Master Your Glass with me, Livio Lauro, where you get expert instruction for everyday consumption.